What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Greenlight Your Own Life podcast with Tiana today. I'm super pumped about this episode. We are starting off March with a total mindset shift that we are looking forward to new ways of thinking. Greenlighting your own life doesn't always mean that you have to be the boss or start a new company or build something from scratch. It could be as simple as you saying yes to an opportunity in front of you and saying yes if it makes sense and showing up. It is that simple. And so I think that there's some limiting beliefs out there that I want to demystify because I even had to break some of those things down for myself. I've been in this industry for quite some time, and looking at it, there's been 10 years of a full dance career. And then now coming into 2026, it's 16 years of being on the production side. And I look back at some of the times that I have said, oh, I probably shouldn't say yes to this specific job because then people will see me in a way that I don't want them to recognize me moving forward. But then when I really shifted my mind and I realized my full potential, because let's be honest, over the past 6 months, I have worn many hats. I have been a showrunner, a segment director, a stage manager, a producer, a creative producer, an entrepreneur, a mentor. And I look and think about the moments that I said yes. If I had not said yes to those things just because of the title, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be in rooms that blew my mind. And when you can learn to compartmentalize some of those things and be really confident in what you're capable of, the doors are going to open in a way that you can't even imagine. And I have people in my community that have come up to me and say, have this skill set, I have that skill set. And what do I put on my resume? And is someone going to not hire me because I can do all of these things? And that's what we're going to talk about, is the reality of not shrinking in moments where really, if you just show all your cards, then people are going to know what you're capable of, and then let them choose. Let them decide how they want to work with you or even lift you up in an opportunity because you have presented in maybe your media kit, your portfolio, your resume, your website, your reel. And if it just shows one side of you, then they're going to think that that's the only thing that you're capable of. So I have learned to not limit myself based off titles. I limit myself based on growth, the growth that I truly, truly see for myself. And I want to share that with you, that those thoughts that you have, those whispers that you might have with yourself or even maybe with your friends, you're not alone. Everyone goes through it. Because as creative people and talented people, we want to grow. We want to push forward. It's very rare that you want to stay in a position for too long, because when you do that, you might feel sad and unhappy with your life. And it's not because that you have done something so well for so long, but eventually you just want to expand. You want to break down doors that maybe you can't see yet. So in order to do that, you have to also accept that when you're presenting yourself, you're not presenting yourself with a limited facade. You're not saying to somebody, oh, well, I just do this. And well, I've done this, but now I only want to do that. Those lines, those are just me saying it out loud feels icky, because then the other person on the other side of it will say, well, I'm going to go with so-and-so who adds more value in many different ways as opposed to someone who's one-noted, right? Like, think about it. Think about when you really flip the script on the other side, when you bring people to your ecosystem and your opportunities that you build. Then you think about, well, I want somebody who can do a lot and a lot well. I'm probably getting a little off track just because this means so much to me, because I've noticed with my personal growth and now getting to share and not gatekeep these things with people in the Creative Director Pro Academy or the community. I think this is a global conversation. And for those listening or watching the podcast, even if you're not in this space yet, I think this is valuable for you too, because there's so much out there. There's so much opportunity. I constantly say the sky is the limit, because the sky is the limit. I know that sounds so cheesy, but it is. And I say that because I experience it. I genuinely feel this from every ounce of my bones that the sky is the limit. And when I get scared, when I even get a little bit hesitant to do something, I know that it's going to build character, shape me to another level that I can't even understand yet. But if I don't get those little nerves and that excitedness inside, then maybe I'm not as living alive as I believe that I can. I want to talk about societal limitations. And when someone has said to me or made me feel like me being capable of too much or gosh, I don't even know where to begin, because the reality of the jobs that I can do, like the actual jobs that I can do, there's a lot. From I can come up with being as a creative director, I come up with ideas and I can manage them all the way through. As a producer, supervising producer, I am able to, take care of the budgets and make sure that we're within the scale of how much everything costs. Or if I'm in a producer position, I am capable of organizing and casting and all of these things that need to kind of be the glue to get everyone in place to where they need to be on time, and organize all the tech grids and these details. If I limited myself in that, then I don't think that someone would want to count on me. And I've noticed that people who shy away from maybe saying no to me is probably an insecurity of theirs. But the reality that I've learned, because I've been on both sides of the coin, is that if I can do if I can do your job, that means I know how to support you best. And maybe people don't think like me. I don't want your job. I don't want to take anything away from you. I love supporting. I love that angle of being a part of a team player. That in itself is greenlighting my own life, because I get to greenlight my own life in a way that supports you, but I still get to fulfill all the duties that I'm capable of. And people are afraid to show that side of them, that they can do so many things, because they're afraid somebody is scared or won't hire them because of that. And I don't think that's fair. And if you believe that that's not fair, I want to see it in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to know if this is something that you have to deal with internally as well, because I think that there's a new day. And I, for one, have hired people when I've seen a resume that is, I can choreograph, I'm a casting director, but I personally have hired somebody because they're capable of casting and doing choreography. And if that person had not put that on their resume, I wouldn't know that I could count on them. So greenlighting your own life it can't just be one noted in the sense of we're only shooting for our own vision. There's so much to do in the space of creativity. There's so many opportunities, from television to live events to concerts to tours to movies, and scripted, unscripted. And if I were to say, oh, I only do one place, if I only do TV, then that means I'm not going to get the opportunities to do a fashion show. Then that means I wouldn't actually get an opportunity to be on a tour. So that in itself, if my career looks like a fantasy, or you think, oh my gosh, how did she get there? What did she do? I just kept saying yes. And I did it with a lot of pride, because I knew that getting the call meant I was supposed to be there. Now, of course, not everything has to fit and not everything has to make sense. Like maybe it's financial, maybe it's circumstance, and maybe it's time. And sometimes you do have to say no. But if it really does land with you, saying yes to these opportunities is going to surprise you, surprise new relationships that you're going to make, and surprise maybe even the person that hired you, what you're fully, fully, fully capable of. Because now you're putting yourself to the test. You're in new territory. You're in new zones. And so what your skill set is from here of producing, or, leading, directing, editing, making music, you can take that and put it and apply it to so many other different ways when you are in a zone of, oh my gosh, what is happening? Okay, I feel like I'm kind of getting off topic, but you're feeling me. If you feel me, come on, let's go. The best leaders understand multiple departments. I said this earlier. It's true. I think the best leaders are capable of understanding what other people do in the world of teamwork, so that they understand, if they have an ask, what it takes for that person to do it. So for instance, if I'm a creative director and I am asking for something in the scenic department, then I know that they have to cost it out. They have to source the people to make it. They have to figure out what's the cost of shipping it to X, Y, and Z destination. If I don't really understand the labor and the legwork that it takes for something that I ask, then my asks are going to be silly, outrageous, and then it makes me seem as though I don't understand it. The best leaders really can understand all aspects of the job, all aspects of the needs and the responsibilities that it takes to get there. So that means you probably have to put yourself in a bunch of different places to understand that, or at least ask questions, at least get to know what is it that you do? What do you do for me to understand how to ask you? And those are some of the things that we actually talk about in Creative Director Pro Academy. And we really go through the details of like each step that each department needs to execute. So my real question to you is not that, am I doing too much, but am I shrinking to make other people feel comfortable? And I've talked about this in my inspiration inbox. I've talked about this in a lot of community conversations, but I think it is a disservice to you to shrink yourself in front of other people to make them feel comfortable. And it's also a disservice to them because then they don't know what your full potential is. So when you're putting your resume together, when you're putting your media kit or your portfolio or your reel together, say everything that you can do with your chest. And if you aren't there yet and you want to, just say, I am actively pursuing something and this is my steps that I'm taking it. And that can be in conversation when you are networking with people and you're saying, hey, what do you do? But you're right here. You know you're working towards here. You can say it. I'm actively pursuing X, Y, and Z. And by doing that, I am taking classes. I am workshopping ideas. I'm doing whatever it takes to get there. And that shows depth. That shows that you have a lot of value to add to somebody else's project, or they think about you in the future. And that's because you put it out there. So don't hesitate to even say it. But don't falsely say it and say, oh, I'm a director. And really, at the end of the day, you haven't directed anything. Just say, I'm actively pursuing it, or I'm actively pursuing to understand something. When I applied for the Disney Director Program last year and I got through, it was such an incredible opportunity for me to understand what it takes to be a director. And me, myself, I think I looked at it and really took on the best thing that I understand in that world, or in that at least program, is what mentorship can do for somebody. And I was mentored not only greatly by Disney, but I was also mentored by the director on Project Runway in a way that I thought, oh my gosh, I can help people like this. So I didn't take it away saying, oh, I'm the next director. If anything, I took away and says, oh, I understand mentorship, but I also now understand what it takes for a director to do their job. And as a creative director and a producer, I look at that in a new way and say, wow, I understand all the people that you have to talk to. I understand all the budgets you have to think. I understand now all the cameras that you have to consider. And it's a choreography of cameras, But if I didn't put myself out there and say yes to wanting to learn and understand, then I'd be cutting my potential short. That's just me being active, honey, and putting myself out there. So the practical shift for you is stop hiding your skills. Why hide what you're capable of or what you're working towards? There are so many people in this world that don't get an opportunity to probably do a sliver of the things that you've had an opportunity to do. So if you are stacking your chips and you're building and you're growing, then this is the best time to speak on it and not really hide away from it, because you want to add value. You want to share your full potential with people that you want to work with. Oh, this is another one. Stop saying just. Oh, I just do this. Oh, I just dance. I just choreograph. I just da 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 da. No, I can do this. I can do this. I can do that. And I love it. And it makes me wake up and be excited to go to the job, or wake up and pursue this passion project. But saying just already just the tone of that cuts you off. So stop yourself. Push yourself. Greenlight your own life. This is the whole tone of this podcast, that if you need this reminder, let me show you that it is the way to function and speak and hold yourself in a light that you desire people to see you as. Start integrating your talents. So for instance, when I started the Creative Director Pro Academy and the community, I took everything that I knew as a creative director for artists and new talent on TV shows or even on tours, whatever. Like, I took everything that I had done for an artist and I applied it to myself and I applied it to my business. And that's, the aesthetic of things. I really like to make sure that I'm not confusing the viewer too much. I like things to be clean and consistent. And that's something that I have learned from being a creative director for stage and for live entertainment, and from working with companies like real strong IP companies. They are very detailed about all of that stuff. And I thought, well, I'm going to do that too. And however you can take something from one side of your skill set and take it over to the other side, it only makes you that much stronger. Lead wherever you are. Lead from wherever you are. And that doesn't mean you have to be the boss, you have to be the number one on the call sheet, or you have to be the big financier of the job. But when you're in a position and you're the team player or you're the glue, be the best glue that you can possibly be. Be the best team player. The thing that I learned most in the past 6 months is that when I get into a situation where I'm wearing all these new hats. I've never been a stage manager, but let me tell you, I love it. I've never been a showrunner before, but I love it. And it's because what I did is I got in, I settled, I paid attention, I listened to the flow of conversation. And then as soon as I knew it was my turn to step up, or if I saw something that was missing, I would either fill the gap or really lead. And that right there is a moment for me saying yes to myself in a way that it wasn't imposter syndrome. I broke that. I said, no, I'm here because I got the call. I'm here because somebody trusts me. And because they trust me, I'm going to deliver. But I'm going to deliver in a way that I'm going to set back, take an assessment of everything around me, and then push forward. Greenlighting your own life does not mean that you always have to create these big opportunities. That is one side of the coin for sure. But if you're not in that space right now, that's totally fine. But greenlighting your own life also means saying yes to opportunities that are in front of you and showing up and doing it with so much honor. And I'll tell you, when you do that, I can guarantee you that the doors are going to open. I can guarantee you that you will be surprised and proud of yourself. And if things get a little wobbly, if things get a little shaky in the middle, that's okay. You learn from it, you grow from it. And if I can say, I always ask my guests, when did you know that you were the green light? So today I'll say, Tiana, when did you know that you were the green light? I knew I was the green light I've had a couple times, but if we're talking about this chapter of my life, I knew I was the green light when I looked myself in the mirror and I said, I love you. And that happened 2025. And I had gone through a rewire of, why do I want this life? Why do I want to be here? Why do I want this career? And I looked at myself and I reminded that I love myself. And in that moment, I realized that I was capable of showing up better, stronger, and a lot more full of joy. So here we are today, Greenlight Your Own Life. This is March. Take it on. Say yes to what's in front of you. Be proud of everything that you're capable of. Don't shrink for others. You are worthy of every ounce of the opportunities that come your way. And I am rooting for you. And I can't wait to see you on the next podcast. Give your girl some love. Ciao, ciao for now.